you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, living the dream, sitting here, not doing any football. What am I going to say?
Yeah, it's the same out here, to be honest. Yeah.
It's Easter break here at the minute, which, having only just got back for a couple of weeks, now we're on breaks again. So it's I'm twiddling my thumbs a lot.
Yeah, Twitter fingers, Twitter fingers.
So how's things with you?
No, I'm good over here. We been doing like preseason over here, just a bit like preseason, well, season, I guess. But yeah, just doing pretty good, pretty good.
So obviously, I know your mum keeps me fully in the loop of what your footballing that is. So I've watched a couple of your games. But just for the benefit of this video, tell me where you are and what you're doing.
All right, so I'm at a school in the Midwest of the States. It's called KNOX College. It's in Galesburg, Illinois. Right now, my major's still undecided, but yeah, I'm playing college football and doing studies.
As I say, you've had a couple of games that I'm aware of because I've watched them, you look still in pretty good shape. You're playing centre back, I see.
Yeah, I'm actually got I'm a lot more fit than it was back then. That's what I'm gonna say. You know.
So you're enjoying it in a minute, yeah?
Yeah, the football is it's a lot different. I still feel like it's a good level over here.
Yeah.
It's different. That's what it's hard to pick out, but
it's a
it's
crazy
just a different
setup, isn't it?
style. Yeah.
Well, because you don't because in America they don't play all year, do they? They condense
Nah.
everything into a short time frame.
Yeah. Normally the season's like within 3 months, I think, something like that. So, and it's like 18 games. So
That's crazy.
plus the tournaments. So it's yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you are a former player of Buxwood. So tell me, well, how long were you at Buxwood?
I was at Buxwood for 2 years, my two final years in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would put you were here at the same time as Gervais and a couple of the others that I've spoken to already.
Yeah, I was at the same time as Gervais and Rafa and Fami and Pato. I think you've done with Pato too, right?
Pato, I've done one with Pato. Pato, yeah.
Yeah.
I've only just recently uploaded that one, haven't I? So but so why did you come to Buxwood? How did that come about?
So one of the previous coaches I met at a UK football trial in Bermuda, and so I heard about the school and I was interested in playing football abroad. So I just talked to him about it, and then ended up going there for my last 2 years of high school.
Yeah, it was that easy.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, that's basically how it was. Pretty interesting. I think Gervais learned about it the same way. I think, to be honest. But yeah, I think it was at the same camp because it was like a yeah. I think that's exactly what happened, to be honest.
Was it handy having Gervais at the same time? Did that make it easier for you?
Yeah, because it's like it's someone to like you have a local thing, like it's like you know what I'm talking about type stuff. It's like local, you know, personal Bermudan stuff.
Yeah, the way you talk, the way you act, the things you miss, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Would you? I mean, did you know Gervais was coming before you applied, or?
When in the process of like getting interested, no, but like when I started to learn more about it, then I didn't know that he was coming with me. So yeah, we ended up on the same flights for every stuff, basically every trip there and back.
Oh, that's
So
handy.
it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would you say about what would you say about your time at Buxford? What, was there anything that stood out for you?
I like the people there. I like the people there a lot. They definitely make the time a lot. Definitely make the time interesting there.
Hmm.
There's always ups and downs, but I'll always remember that time, and I appreciate it for what it was, and it was a fun time. So yeah.
What was the best bit for you though? I mean, what made it what because you say you were there for 2 years, so you know
hmm
there must have been something, because I'm sure you could have left at any time you wanted. So what made, either it can be the school or the academy or both, whatever, but what made it the right fit for you?
I think it was the opportunities that it gave me. Like, for example, with regards to football, we went to Spain, we went to Italy,
Hmm.
to do tournaments. And outside of that, we were able to go to Swaziland or the Kingdom of Eswatini
Yeah,
to do some volunteer work there, and stuff like that. It just enriches your experience there.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So
think,
I mean,
yeah, the opportunities it gave you.
so you mentioned Italy. I mean, you went you went to Atalanta. Is that right? Did you do any
Yeah,
other trips with the football academy? I can't remember.
we had 2 trips to Spain, I believe. I, I believe we had 2 trips. We went, think one in the first year,
Yeah.
and then in the second year we went on the other one. Yeah. So it was one in Valencia, was it? I think Valencia.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That was one I didn't go on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
was
Okay.
that was
Yeah.
that that
Yeah.
was a smaller group one, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the trips, were the trips a big part for you? I mean, when you look back and you think of your time, would you say that the trips and the opportunities you got was a big thing?
Yeah. Definitely, because it's you learn a lot from, if you want to play football abroad, you learn a lot from the different styles of play.
Mm.
Because as I said, it's different here in America, it's different in England, and it's different in those 2 countries, Italy and Spain. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, it's you can learn a lot from it.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember when we went to Atalanta, we got the opportunity to meet two professional players and learn a lot from them. We got to see the facilities of Atalanta, and it's just like the stuff they have is amazing. Like you wouldn't really get to see that. So yeah, it's definitely a big part of why what I would remember.
I always say that Atalanta only got as good as they've got after they had us arrive, because if you remember,
Yeah,
before we arrived, they were an average team playing towards the bottom end, and if I remember correctly, the manager at the time was under threat of potentially losing his job. And then we arrived, and we obviously played them and showed them how to do things. And so I always say they owe us a lot.
yeah, they definitely learned from us, I believe. I
Yeah,
definitely think they learned a few things.
you boys made their life very difficult. I can remember watching the game, and yeah, I think well, I mean, the first time I went to Atalanta, I went with the juniors, and I can remember that we were told that we didn't really have a chance because Atalanta was going to, they're a passing team and they're going to pass us off the pitch. And I have to say, but every time that we've gone there, we've won the majority of the games that we've played there. So I like to think that's a good sign of what can be achieved.
Yeah,
Um,
obviously I played at fullback and I got a meg. I'm just gonna say I got a meg. A meg.
you so you were involved in a lot of big games. You went to the under 16s national final, didn't you? With the Juve that we're in.
No, I was in the older group. I was in the older group.
Ah,
Um,
yes. Ah, yes,
yeah,
that's right. I remember the date of birth thing. Ah, all right.
yeah.
Okay. So, any games that you played in that stood out for you?
Um, I remember we got to the semifinals. I can't remember which tournament it was, and then that was a big game because I think we ended up scoring in like the last 10 minutes or something to go through. It was like that game. Obviously, I played the whole 90, and and yeah, that was one of the big games for me. Was getting to the finals, and then unfortunately I couldn't play in the finals because I can't remember what it was, but I couldn't play in the finals, which was
Annoying.
a bit yeah, bit annoying, but it is what it is.
So I mean, you as you know, Bucks have had quite a few coaches, and I'm probably the longest serving coach they've ever had at the minute, other than Mr. Colston. But who would you say has had the biggest impact on the way you play? I mean, it doesn't have to be a Buckswood coach, but I mean, who's been the biggest impact on your game?
Honestly, I think it was Daryl, because even like he's the first one that I met. He's the one that I met in the UK trials, and then even afterwards, even after I went to Buckswood, he helped me out with some stuff, and so I think it's definitely it'll be Daryl.
Yeah, he'll be pleased to hear that, because he often thinks that we forget about him, but he's an important part of the Buckswood history.
Yeah.
So who when you were training, was the player that you most enjoyed playing alongside? Who was it that you went, I'm going training because they're going training, or I want them in the team when I play? Who would you say was the standout player?
Oh, that's hard. From both years, can I pick? I'm gonna pick two.
I'll let you pick two. As it's you, I'll let you pick two.
Because it was just fun to watch Taki play. I don't know
Taki,
if you
yeah.
remember Taki. It was so fun to watch him play. And to play with, I would probably say this is hard, man. All right, I'll probably say I'm gonna say Rafa because it's also fun watching him play, and like I'll just say that, yeah.
Rafa. Yeah, I enjoy. I have to say, I enjoyed my time with Rafa, because obviously I had him in the second 11 final, and you know, he was a nice guy and a nice player to have in your team. So if I was then to turn that around and go, right, okay, so who was it that was the most difficult to play against in the academy? Who did you when you looked at when we picked the teams and you played your end game, and you looked across at the opposition, you went, oh God, I've got to play against him again. Even though you liked him, don't get me wrong, but you just thought he's going to make me work.
Honestly, I'm gonna say Femi.
Yeah.
Femi, yeah, because I remember he's gonna love this. He's got it on video too. When he flicked it over I couldn't do anything. He just flicked it over my head, just instantly. I was just like, come on. You didn't have to do that. You did not have to do that.
I'll have to ask him for the video. We can add it in here.
Oh no! Oh.
I'll put that little clip it in just for you, so it'll make both of you smile.
Oh man! Oh, that was hurtful. That was hurtful. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, because as a defender as well, I mean, I wouldn't. That's the worst thing in the world, when somebody either nutmegs you or flicks it over your head. You don't want that, do you?
Like okay, I can understand nutmegging, but I can't do anything about it getting flipped over my head. It's like I could try to jump, and then it's just it goes anyway. So
Femi, I always thought Femi was a slightly underrated player, because he obviously he played in defence a lot of the time, and but he did have that knack of pulling out little tricks every now and again, didn't he? Really.
yeah, he's definitely like I would say he's underrated for sure, and he's still working at himself. So I give him a lot of respect.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's at uni at the minute. So I think he's at Swindon. If I remember correctly. I think he told me he's Swindon. So what makes What? Okay, this is a better question. So you've played in Bermuda, you've played in America, you've played in Italy, you've played in England, and you say you've done a bit of Spain. What style of football suits your style of play, and why?
Hmm, okay. I feel like I still have to adapt to the American scene, but so far it gives me a lot of space. Like I have a lot of time. Um, compared to England, it's like you always have like probably 2 seconds at max to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I would say the one that suits me most is probably I'm gonna say England, to be honest. Makes you work a lot harder. That's the only issue I have with it. But I like England most.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I say, watching the games that you've played in for your college team. You're right. It's from what I've seen. You have a lot of time on the ball, and they don't really pressure as much as what we say in England. We're well known for pressing hard, being quick, and playing the ball. Um, you know, at a high tempo. But when I watched your games, there was yes, you played a lot of ball out from the back, and that was lovely. But you had time to play the balls into diagonal corners and stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
is that what you expected when you went there?
I thought it was gonna be more similar to England, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it ended up being like it makes my job a little bit easier, to be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, I didn't expect it to be as much time as I do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
As I say, it's for me. Obviously, I've never. I mean, I have been to America and I have experienced it, but not to coach. I've been there to watch. And as I say, for me, I find it quite from a coach's point of view. I watched your two games and I found them quite frustrating because it was like I want that ball. I want my team to win that ball quicker, earlier. I want to, and I was watching it and it was like, yeah. And I watched one game and down your left hand side, they were getting a lot of ball and the opposition were using the ball quite well. And I didn't think you were so effective down the left hand side in one game. And then in the other game, it was the complete opposite. It was, you know, more down your right hand side. And I found it very, very. It's very difficult for a coach at the best of times to watch football with because once you start your coaching journey, you sort of have a tendency to look at games differently rather than as a fan. You spend a lot of time going, well, why are you not there? And the ball might be all the way down there, but you're going, what's going on? And you sort of. So I did find it very frustrating. But you look very comfortable on the ball, and obviously that's probably because you got a lot more time. But I was quite impressed with the way you were playing, and to be honest, I thought that was down to you really.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been working on myself a bit. I've still been playing in Bermuda too. Well, I was there.
Hmm.
Even though COVID has impacted that whole situation, I didn't get to play too much games this season. But yeah, even when I was at Buckswood, I still played back home. Um, but yeah, I definitely have improved a lot since I first came to Buckswood. I'll
Hmm.
say that, and that's due to a lot of things, especially coaching there.
Yeah. Well. So what's your plan? So if everything goes, if you could have anything now, if I said to you, right, Eusebio, whatever your heart desires, that's your future. What would you want to do?
Um, oh, honestly, this is a good question for myself, but like before, I would have definitely said like playing at like Manchester United. Like, I would still want to do that. Don't get me
Oh,
wrong. Don't get me wrong.
oh, United. Oh,
What a team that is. You know, Bruno Fernandes, call him Fernandes, whatever. You know, but I'm gonna still say that. To be honest, I'm gonna still
yeah.
say that.
So you want to
Yeah,
be a
I'll still
professional
say that.
football player, if you can loosely say that's what they are at Man United.
Loosely.
being a Liverpool fan, you know you were going to get some grief for that. No, you know.
I know, but it was still ahead of you, so it's fine.
Yeah, just for a little while, it's fine. So you want to get a professional career, and obviously that's your A game. If that doesn't come off, what would you hope to do?
I would be in the business industry, I think, because I do have I've done a lot of networking, so
Mm-hmm.
I do have some links. So I would hopefully be in that industry. But yeah.
Yeah, and anything in particular, or just you want to be a business entrepreneur?
Uh, I don't want to like put a name on what I want to do, if you know what I mean. Like I still want to see what's out there and progress myself through that industry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but like if I end up being the chief financial officer, I'm not gonna be mad, you know what I mean?
Listen, there's a place for everybody. Everybody's got somewhere to go, and I'm sure wherever it is you go, you're going to do really well. My memories of you being at Buxwood are only ever positives, because you know we would always talk anything that myself or you know Magro etc. would say to you, you know, you would generally do, and you know, you were one of those guys that we enjoyed coaching rather than just because we had to, and I think that's a very important trait of any player. You know, we have players, we have players now who you know will who are extremely good players, but don't will know that they're a good player, and they don't necessarily do as they're told. Do you know what I mean? They don't work for the team; they work for themselves, and that's something that you know, unfortunately, will be the undoing for a lot of them.
Yeah. One thing I'll say with that is like I just say it's not always about yourself, you know, it's about the greater like good, the team's good, you know. Like obviously, one on one, go do your thing, go do whatever you need. Um, and then you gotta do what the coach asks. You know, I'm an easygoing guy, so I would do whatever. Sorry for the background noise, by the way, but
I've got
but
my
yeah.
4-year-old daughter hanging around here at the minute, so I'm having to keep an eye on her at the same time, so I shouldn't worry about it.
Okay. But yeah, for me, I was just doing what I was asked for. Um, I I like doing that. Like I'm the easygoing guy, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you're pretty
yeah,
laid back. You are a laid back person, and that's great, because you know, as I say, there are many players. I mean, you remember so I'm sure you remember some players from your time who were very hard on themselves, and actually made life more difficult for them because they got so stressed
yeah,
at the games and what have you.
yeah. I meant to also add one thing. Like, don't take criticism like for being an attack on you, because that's what most players do. That focus like that are hard on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like take it as trying to help your game. Like even if it's from a worse player, even from if you think it's a worse player anyways, um, they're just trying to help you, and that's all I'll say.
Mm.
But yeah,
So so obviously, as you know, we're going to put this on our YouTube. We're going to obviously we'll put the info out on all the social medias we're on. So because obviously we're trying to attract more, especially from Bermuda and what have you. I think you know, I think we obviously with COVID at the minute, it's very difficult for us to get out and about and talk to people in the way that we have done in the past. So if there was a young boy or girl who was looking and thinking about, coming to a football program, two questions would be: is one, why should they come to England? And secondly, why should they especially come to Buxwood?
Okay, so if I was talking to Bermudian, I would say, if you want to go to England, it's a completely different style of football there. You would have to definitely listen to the coach, put in the extras, especially in Bermuda, because football in Bermuda is pretty, like, I would say, not laid back, but it's a lot easier to adapt to than football in England. Um, so I would say that. I'm also say that there's always going to be better players than you, and if you want to get to the next level, you have to put in a lot of work. Like, don't just think because you're good, you're gonna make it. You know, I know a lot of good players that like I think can make it, and they're still working to try to make it, and they haven't gone as far as they thought. So you have to take that into consideration if they want to go to that level. Um, and I would say that Boxwood definitely gives you the opportunity to go to that next level because you get seen by a lot of coaches, especially in England. You always get seen by coaches and scouts and everything. So just do the best you can, and you you get a lot of success from that. Um, but yeah, Boxwood definitely gives you that opportunity as well because, as I said, we've been to multiple countries. Um, and even within England, that's good enough. So, yeah, it's a great experience, great people. You meet friends, have great time there, and yeah,
Are you still in contact with any of the boys?
yeah, I'm still in contact with a few of them. I still talk to. We have a group chat still from back then, so we still talk in there.
That's good.
I talk to Gabriel Trajkovic every now and then. I talked to a couple people, not too much, but a couple. I wish I talked to more, but
It'd be nice. I've lost contact with some of them. Obviously, it would have been inappropriate for a coach to be involved in your group chat. But Gabriel Trashwood, I would love to have him on. So if you ever speak to him, tell him to get in contact with me, and I'll stick him on here. He can
yeah.
he can do that. So something you mentioned about is players that are really good that are having to work hard anyway. When you in your time here, was there anybody that stood out for you who either surprised you or you knew instantly that they should be a really good player?
Oh, I remember the first year. Pato Salas. He was 13 at the time.
That's right. Yeah, he was an under 13.
He was
Yeah.
he was tall. He was almost 6 foot,
Yeah.
and he has so much quality. I was just like, I didn't know how he was 13. I was so surprised.
Yeah.
So I think he would definitely be a standout for me.
Yeah.
And obviously he's at a good
He's
level.
obviously Mexican
Yeah.
under 17 international now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Who surprised you? Was there anybody when you went there and before you'd even seen them play, you looked at them and you went, all right, yeah, okay, but they surprised you? Was there anybody that did that?
Um, I would say, I would say, honestly, I'm gonna say either Colin or Park here.
Park.
It's either Colin or Park. I'll just say both, but definitely because was so small, and
Yeah.
like he was doing the stuff that you would need to do as he was a midfielder. So he would like I wasn't expecting him to be as good on the ball as he was. But I guess if you're small, you need to be good at the ball. But yeah, definitely Park. I'd say.
Colin and Park were both. They didn't say an awful lot a lot of the time. I mean, Park was probably more talkative.
Yeah.
But yeah, Colin, you'd sort of look at him, and then it wasn't until you put him on the pitch that you actually realised he could play with the ball. Because he doesn't come across as a football player straight away, does he?
Yeah, because it's not he's humble. Like he doesn't really talk like, you know, all of this stuff. And yeah, I'd say he's quiet. He's definitely quiet. So you wouldn't expect that.
Colin's over in Spain at the minute, and Park's obviously back in Korea. So but Park seems to be doing quite well. I keep in contact with Park. I don't hear from Colin, but it's good. And you're right. I mean, we used to have players like Kim, who was a good player. You know, and there are a lot of players that have come through the system who, like you say, Pato Salas was unbelievable. I mean, I always bring out this story, but I remember going to go play Bexhill Academy, and he was so good that they had to put 3 players on him to try and stop him, and he still beat them. You know,
I remember that story.
Unbelievable player. But we've been very lucky. I mean, you know, even during your time, sometimes it was just pure luck or bad luck that you didn't achieve a lot more than you should have done. Do you know what I mean? Because you had such like you say, you know, you had Taki, you had some really good players going through, Gervais, obviously, who it was a shame that you didn't quite manage some of the things that you would have expected, which is a shame. You know, we've managed to get a few games going, and obviously we had the final this year. I don't know if you saw that final.
No, I didn't get a chance to.
Oh, don't worry, it's on the YouTube channel. You can watch it.
All right.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, my friends? Because I've sort of done all the questions.
I don't even know. I'll just leave it at that, I guess. I'm good. It was nice talking to you, though.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, and it was great to see you doing so well, my friend. As I say, as long as your mum tells me when the games are on, I'll do my best to watch them. And if you ever need feedback, just let me know, and I'll send it to you.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Thank you for your time today, my friend, and hopefully we can catch up again soon.
Of course. Have a nice one.